It goes a 1, 2, 3, and on your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Caught it! Right.
Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
And that'll do it. It's over. The Golden State Warriors return to a familiar place. They're on top of the NBA world.
We're down to 2, now to 1. Here's Jordan. Yes! It's all over. The Chicago Bulls.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah! Ow! Welcome to the Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am one half of that duo, Cole Johnson. The other half will join me momentarily. We had a wonderful time yesterday. Thank you so much to the chat. Thank you so much to those who have followed us and continue to follow us, because we're going to continue to give you more of that hot content as we always do. Let's say hello to the chat. Good morning. Good morning to Vlog83. What's up? Throwback Thursdays on the way. Good morning, family. The Hawk TV says, good morning, SITM crew. We just taking off. You darn right. I'm glad you're taking off with this, Hawk. Chris Dietz, who will join us at the bottom, will join us at the bottom or close to the bottom of the first hour. He says, good morning, sports fans. And knowing him, he's going to have something to unveil to us. But that is for later. For now, let us get to the whip around. So, of course, everybody is raving about Aaron Judge reaching the, I guess you could say, legendary mark of 61 last night in the 8-3 victory the Yankees did over the Blue Jays in Toronto. The blast in the left center put him in good company as he hit this homer in game 155, which, of course, it moves past Ruth and then tied with Roger Maris in terms of how many home runs a Yankee has hit. Of course, also how many homers in a single season an American leaguer has hit. The symmetry of the numbers are absolutely astonishing. So Roger Maris, he hit 61 homers. He did it in 1961. And here's Judge hitting 61st homer of his season in 2022. It is the 61st year of Maris's 61 home run record not being broached in the American League until now. So the number 61 is just simply huge. Well, Judge hit a 3-2 pitch, and he just deposited it into the left center, over the left center wall. And Judge talked about the hit and the monumental shot that now joins him in history with one Roger Maris. Quote, I was hoping he would get over the fence. I didn't know at first. I didn't want to be standing at home plate when it hits the wall. It's an incredible honor. There's a lot of emotions. It took me a little longer than I wanted to. Close quote. Well, that's what happens when you press. But look, you're there, and you get a chance to set the American League record in the intervening games before the season closes. So congratulations, Mr. Judge. Hopefully you will get to 62. And now batting, the man who is going euphoric over 61 homers hit in a single season by Aaron Judge, number 420, Wise El Jefe. Number 420.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. So, of course, I just touched off the first of the whip around stories of the monumental 61st homer being hit by Aaron Judge.
Yes.
Well, the son of the original record maker, Roger Maris Jr., he had some things to say about the home run record that Judge has equaled of his father. and he had some nice biting remarks about it. And he said, quote, "It's not just for me. I think it means a lot for a lot of people that he's clean. He's a Yankee. He plays the game the right way. I think it gives people a chance to look at somebody who should be revered for hitting 62 homers and not just a guy who did it in the American League. He should be revered for being the actual single season home run champ. I mean, that's really who he is if he hits 62. I think that's what needs to happen. I think baseball needs to look at the records, and I think baseball should do something." Close quote. Your thoughts, sir?
Listen, as much as I would love for him to be the single season record holder, the McGuire Sosa thing brought baseball back. Saying I don't care what anybody said, they can say talk about dirty, clean, whatever. But baseball was suffering and hemorrhaging until then. And when those men went and broke that record, baseball was euphoric. Baseball was happy. Baseball was celebrating because it brought the fans back to the game. That strike of 95, of 94, sorry, the lockout of 94, where there was no World Series played, that soured a lot of people on baseball. So as much as I would love it for him, if he breaks the record, to be the all-time leader, at that time it wasn't illegal. There was nothing wrong with it. There was nobody saying there was no rules against using performance-enhancing drugs, any of that. So to me, Barry Bonds is the all-time home run king. To me. And I'm a baseball fan. And so at that time it wasn't illegal. Nobody was bitching about it when they was setting these records, when they was bringing baseball back. But now, and I love Aaron Judge, and he does play. He reminds me of the captain because he doesn't bring drama off the field. You don't have to worry about Aaron Judge going out there and being disrespectful out in them streets or doing whatever the hell some of these other players are doing.
Thank the Lord. Yeah.
I'm saying he is one of the all-time greatest Yankees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he reminds me so much of the captain, especially the way he handles himself. So no, those men brought baseball back. So I have no problem. Listen, y'all can talk all y'all want. Y'all can say, oh, it was clarity clean. Listen, players was using amphetamines in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. To stay up because they were playing a lot of games, staying up night, whatever. But people they were using drugs to help them. Nobody was saying anything when they was using the stuff to enhance the balls for pitchers and all. Listen, all that nonsense, whatever. To me, Barry has the record. He is the all-time home run king. I'm not gonna. At the time, there was no rules against it, so they might have frowned upon it, but there was no rules against it. So whatever they want to say, and plus, steroids help so much. It's not all about strength when it comes to baseball. Steroids don't enhance your eye to hand coordination. It doesn't. It helps heal the body in some ways, but it doesn't enhance the hand to eye coordination, does it? Barry Bond had that already before he even started juicing.
Long before.
If he was juicing, because it hasn't been proven.
Right.
Yeah, look at the Mets with all the coke they were doing in the 80s in the dugout.
During the game.
But nah, man, listen, get over it. Y'all people need to get over that. I'm just happy my man hit 61. If he hit 62, he is the least American League all-time leader.
Right.
And I'm happy with that.
Yeah, he at least has that. He'd be the all-time Yankee leader, all-time American League holder.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I could not have said that any better. I echo all of what Wyatt said because all of that is true. Bonds is the home run king right now, both in a single season and for a career. If you don't like it, oh well, shut up. Switching to the NFL, the Jets are possibly salivating now, considering that Zach Wilson will be making his debut in the 2022 season this Sunday. The coach of the Jets, Robert Saleh, said that yesterday that Wilson cleared medical tests and will start, barring any setbacks, when the Jets travel to Pittsburgh and play them on Sunday. I guess that would be the end of Joe Flacco's career unless Wilson gets injured. Well, since you're around the area and you follow the Jets, um, do you think that Wilson will start Sunday? And if he does, how good of a chance do you give him?
He better start this Sunday. He better start because Joe Flacco. Oh my God! So did you watch the game last week?
Yeah, he was horrible.
You see some of the passes he was throwing?
Yeah, he was. Even in the even in the win in Cleveland, he was atrocious for most of that game. I mean, he was atrocious for 3 of those 4 quarters.
And yeah, the fourth quarter was his best quarter, and then thank God. But no, Zach Wilson needs to start. They need to see what this young man could do, and I think he's going to be outstanding. Personally, I think he has. He's before he got hurt, he had made he bulked up. First of all, if you see the pictures from last season to when he came into camp this year, my man was doing his thing. He also stepped up and started connecting with his receivers. Saying him and his receivers started linking up. Him, Corey Davis, all these other. They need his arm. Joe Flacco has no arm.
No,
he's done.
Yeah,
Zach Wilson is their future. He needs to start. And I like I said, I feel he has the potential to be that quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Now let's see if he proves me wrong. Yes, Ryan. I think he should start. I think he will start, and they need him to start because they need to get this season turned around. I made bold predictions for the Jets this year. I need them to turn this shit around.
Yeah. Well, good. Good luck to Mr. Wilson. He did show some signs last year.
Yeah. At the end of the season, he was playing for that Tampa Bay game.
Yeah.
He showed what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
Now he has all these weapons. Now they added Breece Hall. They added Garrett Wilson. They have the weapons around him. They added the 2 tight ends, Conklin and Uzama.
Mm-hmm.
They got some weapons.
Yeah, they do.
So we'll see.
Yeah, you do. But I'm happy to see that Wilson has healed up and looks like he is set to start in Western Pennsylvania. Yeah, good luck to the Jets and definitely good luck to Mr. Wilson. Unfortunately, we have to say good luck in even harder a fashion to the Chargers as they have placed Joey Bosa and Rashawn Slater on injury reserve. Now, these injuries happened in the 38-10 thrashing and butt whooping that they took at home at the hands of the Jaguars.
Which I did say the Jaguars was.
Yes, you said the Jaguars were going to beat the Chargers. Yes,
I did, right? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yes, just like I said, the Bears are going to beat the Texans.
You did. But nobody expected the Listen, that was nothing. Nobody expected the Jaguars to win.
Well, true.
Nobody. True. And I said, listen, this ain't the same old Jaguars.
And
everybody, oh yeah, it is. I'm like, listen, no, it's not. They finally got a head coach. They got a quarterback, and they got some talent on that team. Let's call this. They got some. They're gonna be surprising a lot of people this year. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. Well, the head coach, who I really have no faith in the Chargers, and Brandon Staley, he called Bosa's injury a significant groin injury, while with Slater, he tore his left bicep. Now, it's possible that Bosa will return toward the end of the season. Slater, though, it is slated for him to not be coming back until next season. So it looks like he's likely out for 2022.
That's a big blow.
That is a huge blow for them, considering that he was supposed to be what would anchor an offensive line that it's decent in pass blocking, but they needed to run block a lot better.
Yes. And it doesn't help the fact that that Justin Herbert is suffering with that rib injury.
Oh yeah. Oh no. By the way, yes, the previous game, Justin Herbert received a nice shot in the ribs.
Oh, beautiful shot. It was clean. It was
clean.
clean.
It was clean. When I say beautiful, I do mean it in the technical football sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a nice shot that he took to the ribs, and he hasn't been the same since. Although I give it credit, he gutted out the game. The rest of the game against the Chiefs. It looked like he gutted out the games against the Jaguars too, but you could tell that was one of those attitude adjustment hits. Sometimes you go through them.
Yes.
And that concludes today's Whip Around. Now back to the chat. I have to say hello to all of you. Playmaker says, good morning. What's up, Playmaker?
Good morning, Playmaker. What's going on, my brother?
Oh man, Vlog says yesterday will go down in history as having one of the best segments ever.
Man, yesterday I was dying. Yesterday I was dying. I was dying. It was hilarious.
He said, can't wait to see it again next Wednesday. And for those of you who didn't catch it, it is on YouTube and it's also on demand at BS3 Network. You can see it there too. You will enjoy it, believe me.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
Vlog says, what is Albert Pujols?
700, brother. 700.
I think he's still at 700 as of right now. Yeah.
Yeah. he made Drew eat his words.
Oh no.
Because my man Drew he's gonna be stuck at, you know how Drew gets 698. He must have heard you because he hit 2 home runs the next day.
Hit 2 home runs in one game. I'm like, oh man, he wanted to get that over with. D2, we will get him on momentarily. He says AP is at 700. Victor says, thanks, Deets. That makes me very happy. Actually makes me very happy too. Ryan says, good morning, gentlemen, and good morning to everyone in the chat and watching and listening.
Good morning, Mr. McCoffee.
Is Throwaway Thursday? Well, no, not necessarily Throwaway Thursday. And to answer your question, he did it Friday. Sick says, good morning to the chat. How's everybody doing? Now I'm doing fine. I hope you're doing fine, Sick.
Well, Sick, thank you. Thank you for stopping by yesterday and checking out the show, man. It was a great episode. If you haven't checked it out, check out my own episode. It was real good, man. The lady I had, she's amazing. She dropped some nuggets, man. She really dropped some gems yesterday.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, and definitely check out what this man does. I mean, he does a lot of good stuff. Stuck in My Mind podcast, one of the best interview podcasts I have ever seen. Actually, and I'm not just saying that because he's on here. I really mean that.
You might want to reach out to her. She's on Podmatch. Shayna Francesca. She's number 7 right now. She just stepped up to number 7.
Okay,
but
Shayna Francesca.
Okay. She's phenomenal. She's a great person to speak to.
Okay,
it's worth it. I'm telling you, she would be a great addition to Revelations.
I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Victor says Sammy versus Big Mac was a deuce space race. Yeah, it was. And he also says good morning to you, Sick. Hawk TV says a lot of people benefited from those home run chase years of the good Lord, dude.
Yes.
From 1998 to 2003, a lot of careers changed and a lot of people got rich.
Baseball got rich.
A lot of people in baseball got rich in that 6-year span.
Yes. It was great because, like I said, baseball was hemorrhaging. Mm-hmm. That brought the fans back to baseball. Yeah, it did. Those few years brought baseball back, and I don't care. Y'all can say whatever y'all want. They were cheated, whatever. But at the time, there was no rules against it. So yeah, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Deet said that more pitchers have been popped for steroids and hitters in the history of the steroids punishments. That is correct, sir. 6 says Aaron Judge must have great PR. He's a very mature man. He probably does. And yes, I have said this on this show, actually. Judge is a legacy Yankee. He's striving for that. And I think he has the temperament for it. And seems like everybody in Yankees royalty is basically saying that he is that. So yeah, he will be in. To me, he is in that long line of Ruth, Mantle, DiMaggio, Jeter, and now I think Judge will join him.
All I hear is, he's going to sign somewhere else. Listen, if any indications from the sweater he wore the other day, the hoodie he wore the other day, is he's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
it said New York or nowhere. So my man wants to be. Listen, he is that kind of player that he wants to finish his career with one single team.
Now you might have
he wants to be. He's gonna, if he stays with the Yankees, even if he doesn't make all that money as far as from the Yankees, as far as promote, like
Yeah, he'll get endorsements.
ad money and all that. And this is New York you were talking about.
He's gonna get endorsements. Yeah,
He's gonna get the endorsements out the Yang Yang.
Yeah.
He's gonna make up all that money, that whatever. So he's not going anywhere. I can keep wishing. San Francisco Giant fans, Dodgers fans, Mets fans, keep dreaming.
Yeah, well,
he's not going anywhere.
This is coming from an Astros fan here. Aaron Judge is the face of the league.
Wow.
Straight up. Aaron Judge is the face of the league. Name me another player right now that you'd want to see promote baseball more than Aaron Judge. Can't name him.
There's none.
Yeah, can't name
There's
him.
no one. I can't even think of one.
Yeah. D says Mickey Mantle just used booze. That's correct. 6 says, who remembers Darryl Strawberry's battles off the field? Yeah, I think both Wise and I definitely do. Vic says steroids played a major part with a total strength, but vision and patience are what makes home runs possible.
Exactly.
I agree with you both. Yes. Mm-hmm. 6 says, who remember Doc Ellis's no-hitter on LSD?
Listen, that's what I'm saying, man. Mike Schmidt has admitted to using amphetamines.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the greatest baseball players of all time.
Ever, yes. And one of my favorites ever. And he admitted.
Oh, yeah. Listen, even though he's a Phillies, I had nothing but respect for Mike Schmidt. He was a phenomenal baseball player.
Yeah. Broke my heart in 1980, and I still have respect for him. Ryan McCarthy says baseball has always been dirty, no matter how much the purists have tried to spin it, and not even just in this era. You can go all the way back into when it was the early part of the 20th century. I mean, one of the biggest stories of the century, baseball wise, was the Black Sox scandal in 1919. Yeah. So there you go. Hawk TV says Zach isn't going to make a difference for the Jets. Well, he might make some. Queen 3 and King, how you doing, King Doc? What up,
Doc?
I know you happy considering the Cowboys are now 2-1. So hopefully it continues. I think it will because you're all playing the Commanders Sunday. Hot TV says salutations, Queen and King podcast from Hot TV.
I gotta have Doc on my show. So Doc, man, I gotta reach out to you. We gotta set something up. I definitely gotta have you on my show, brother.
Oh, please. He's really knowledgeable about the Cowboys. Seriously.
We're not gonna talk about no Cowboys. We're not talking about the Cowboys. But I would definitely love to have Doc on my show. So make it pop. We're gonna make it happen, Doc.
All right, non-sports related. Yes, he's a great. I should know because he was on Revelations.
I know.
Great host, a great guest, great host too, and he knows a lot about a lot of things. Vic says good morning to you as well, Doc. 6 says unless Flacco can redeem himself, which unless he goes into the time machine and goes back 10 years, that ain't happening. Ryan says Zach Wilson starts, so fans will figuratively riot. Do Jets fans actually riot, Ryan? I don't know.
They haven't yet. And I won't mention his name, Ryan. I won't, but during that era they didn't riot. So we'll see.
I'm sorry. I won't mention the name. I'll mention the play. If y'all didn't riot after butt fumble, I don't know how.
Oh, not even that. It's even after that. But I won't mention his name. Oh, yeah. I won't mention his name, Ryan. I promised you I won't mention his name again because I know how much it hurts.
I'm not mentioning his name either.
Yeah, that dude right there.
Lord have mercy. He needed to be shot. Seriously, it shouldn't even look like that. Victor said, I believe Jets fans will literally not riot as well, figuratively. Sick talking about Ryan Slater. Rashawn Slater. He says a torn bicep is no joke. A pulled groin is a nightmare. I've been blessed to not have neither, but yes, I can see how it would be horrible. Victor asked, how are you doing, wise man?
I am well, my brother. I am well. We had a great time yesterday talking after the show.
Yeah, he actually said it was a great show. He said he was there.
Yeah, no, but after that, we spoke. We stood on for a little bit after the show, and we was talking. We had a great conversation with me, Victor, Sick, and Brian. It was a great time. Thanks, guys, for sharing your stories.
Yeah. Oh, and this is a question I do have to ask Playmaker. You're staying safe, no power outage, no damage thus far. So everything's good where you are because he's in the Jacksonville area, I believe. So everything's good where you are, brother. Good.
Yeah, well, Jacksonville's on the other side of where it went through Fort Myers.
True, I know.
I
know.
Jacksonville's towards the top, but it's the people in Fort Myers and that area.
Yeah, Fort
Tampa was
Myers,
spared
Sarasota.
again. And it went through Orlando and all that. So my prayers are out there with everyone in Florida that's being affected by the hurricane.
Yes, definitely. And I echo those same sentiments. 6 says it's supposed to be Throwback Thursday. Well, it might be. You never know. Playmaker says of other faces in the league, Shohei Ohtani. How can I say this and not sound extreme? Okay, I'll say it. I love Ohtani. I think he's one of the best baseball players we've seen in a long time.
Two-way players ever. Yes,
he's one of the best two-way players in the history of the game.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the fact that this is an American game that we're talking about here, he's not going to receive the same love as Aaron Judge.
Yes, absolutely.
I love his game, and I respect
what he's doing. Listen, he got 30-something home runs. His ERA is phenomenal. He's a great pitcher.
Yeah,
he's doing it both ways. But 61 home runs, going for a triple crown.
Yeah, I think that's more remarkable to me. The fact that he is in line for a triple crown. Oh man, that's scary. 6 says, I still remember Robert Williams' bit about Doc Ellis's no-hitter on LSD. It's still hilarious. Ryan says, looks like it's either or. And Vic says, finally got a chance to watch Stuck in My Mind. It was fantastic. I told you.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
It's some great programming. It is some great programming. Let's see. I'll do a quick reset. And then on the other side, well, you already know what's going to happen.
Because we take this job so serious.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
Bottom of hour number 1, Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson with YSL Jefe. I am Cole Johnson, and it is now time, since it is the bottom of hour number 1 on a Thursday, it's time for this.
Passionate.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
Unflinching.
Let's go back to losing. Parking was easier.
Unrelenting.
They're not going to keep him off the field tonight!
Totally.
This one has a chance!
Deeds.
That's not just a murmur, that's a full-blown fibrillation.
And we welcome you could say mini, a fish out of many topics, but definitely of college football. One, Mr. Chris Dietz, holding the Thor axe, as always. How you doing, my man?
Doing all right. How you doing, guys?
What's going on, Dietz?
Doing good.
So I got to address the whip around a little bit.
Okay.
And we'll start with Aaron Judge, and great things for Aaron Judge. This entire chase for 61 has why I'm just so blasé about it. Everybody what you need to do is go watch the movie. Go watch the movie 61 with Barry Pepper as Roger Maris. It's one of the best movies. It's one of the best sports movies I've ever seen.
And Thomas Jane as Mickey Mantle, yes.
But to understand why I'm not like, all right, Aaron Judge, where are the Yankee fans that were throwing beer cans at Roger Maris for breaking Babe Ruth's record? Where are those Yankee fans at?
Probably dead.
Remember, that's what I think of when I think of Roger Maris's 61 is how hated he was. He was hated.
Yeah, he was hated
for hitting 61 home runs. Yankee fans hated him for hitting home runs for them.
I think they probably wanted Mantle to break it. At first, I think they wanted Mantle to break it.
Of course, because Mantle was the face of the Yankees. So yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the original home run chase. The original home run chase was Maris versus Mantle.
The same thing I said, right? They're probably all dead now.
And that's what I think of when I think of 61. I think of how much Roger Maris had to go through. If he didn't have to go through that, he probably hit 70. Because that took such a toll on him. He hated coming to the ballpark because people were throwing stuff at him, and I don't blame him. So that's what I think about Judge. But what Judge is doing is awesome, and it's great for baseball, and I'm glad we're getting all of it. But again, just everybody needs to go watch 61 to be reminded of what was happening during that.
Agreed.
All right, so let's get to the other part. You guys mentioned the Chargers. Well, there's a reason why Joey Bosa went down the other day, and so I'll tell you a little bit about this. So I had the Steelers defense in fantasy in week 1. What happens? TJ Watt goes out.
True.
So I'm like, all right, I'm done with this. So I pick up the Chargers defense, and now Joey Bosa goes out.
Do not pick up the Giants defense.
So just
do not pick up the Giants defense.
Whoever's defense I go out and pick up, your star pass rusher, is going down. He's going down.
You can pick up Dallas defense. You can pick up Dallas defense if you want.
The Deets Jinx defense is okay.
It's just bad. Well, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Don't
you might pick up Dallas defense. That's a
well,
great defense.
You guys were mentioning the Jacksonville, the turnaround for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested to see what the Jaguars. The Jaguars Philly game is the most interesting game this weekend. In both college and the NFL. It is, and it's not even interesting for what's happening on the field. What's happening on the field is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I always like to come here and give people, make people remember the history of these two teams. And does everybody remember the last head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles?
You mean the guy who's in Jacksonville right now?
Yeah, Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson. Yeah. Do you remember why Doug Peterson was fired? He was fired because he played Jalen Hurts over Carson Wentz, and they accused him of throwing the game when he and who's the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles now?
Jalen Hurts.
This should be the storyline of the weekend. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about this. He was fired for playing Jalen Hurts, and now Jalen Hurts is being talked about as the best turnaround in all of this. So yeah, it's ridiculous. The most ridiculous storyline ever. He gets fired for playing a guy who's now one of the best players in the league after 3 games.
Meanwhile, Wentz is now playing on his third team. Yeah.
He's on his 3rd team now. Yeah.
And they accused him of throwing the game because he wanted to throw the game for Washington. Like what? It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I thought that was
But
ridiculous.
that's why Doug Peterson is in Jacksonville now and not on the sidelines.
Vic says the same sentiment as Weiss. He says, he says the opposite. I should say, leave Dallas defense alone. It's the only good thing we have. We are not leaving the fate of our team in the hands of Cooper Rush.
I don't touch the Cowboys in fan. I don't pick the Cowboys in fantasy for 2 reasons. One, I don't like to pick them because I like to watch the Cowboys games, so I don't want to have to watch them and be like, oh, I need this for fantasy or whatever. No, I just like to watch. I just like to watch and root for my team. The second reason is because if I pick Cowboys and I have them on my team and they do bad, it's a double loss for me because of my team. If I lose fantasy because CeeDee Lamb goes off, awesome. I'd rather lose the fantasy game and have the Cowboys win than have it work the other way around. So That's why I try to stay away from Cowboys as much as possible with my fantasy. So I won't pick up the Dallas defense. But speaking of the Dallas Cowboys,
Okay.
you know, Cole, I know you love our owner more than anybody.
Yes, I love Gerald.
I gotta preface this by saying I love Jerry Jones as an owner. I love him as an owner of my team.
As an owner, he's cool. I have no problem with that.
He is one of the best promoters of the Dallas Cowboys, and that's really all you really want from an owner.
That's not all he does.
I know as an owner, I can't tell him this, but because this is the regular Snowman in the Morning, this isn't unfiltered. I won't say what I really want to say, but I will say this about Jerry Jones. I saw an interview that he did. Shut the F up. Stop talking.
Wait. Sick. You were talking about stirring the pot? There we go. When I heard that interview that Gerald did and saying that I actually am looking forward to a quarterback controversy, I'm like, what are you doing?
I mean, Cooper Rush is 2-0. Like the Cowboys, it's fantastic. We won a game in Cincinnati that I didn't think we were going to win. We end up winning the game. Awesome. Right. We beat the Giants. I expected us to beat the Giants at the beginning of the year. I expected us to win the game before. I thought it would be close. I thought it would be I thought it was going to play out the way it did. Mm-hmm. So I was expecting us to win. So why would you even, if somebody asked me, hey, is Dak Prescott coming back? I would say, if I'm Jerry in that situation, I would say, look, our team is playing great right now, and Dak will come back when Dak's ready, and when he's ready, we'll address it then. That's all you needed to say. You don't need to say, well, Dak's coming back real soon. Dak's coming back. Like, who cares? Talk about what we just did. We just played a great game. If somebody asked me, hey, Dak's coming back, do you need him? I would say, did you see what we did? We ran the ball 30 times. That's what we need to do.
That's what you need to do.
That's how we need to win games. Run the football, get after the quarterback, and play defense and get a big play from CeeDee Lamb here and there.
That's
the formula.
We've said that. We've said they need to run the rock. If they're going to win, especially with that Philly defense.
Now they have a defense, so they must run more.
Oh yeah,
but Jerry is he just is incapable of not stepping in a big pile of you know what, and he just has to. Like, all you have to do is keep your mouth shut. Just keep your mouth shut, move on, and wait till Dak comes back. And when he comes back, then we'll assess it there.
This is why I love Gerald.
I just don't get it.
He just can't help but get his hands in things in metal. He just can't help it. That's just his nature. He just wants to be in the middle of it all, where he should have that mentality of P. Diddy when he says, "Don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks." He wants to write checks, suit up, play in a football field, get the pom-poms, cheer, get around the mic, be the spokesperson of the team. And if he was able to do it, and if he was 35, he'd probably think he could be the quarterback of the team too. This is why I really love Gerald, because he, even in the midst of, if Dallas can do what they do, he could just gum up the works and make it a soap opera. That's why I am hoping for the day he returns to being in the owner's box. He has a 28-year-old blonde, and on national TV, he reaches up her skirt. I'm looking for that day to return.
that day is coming. Although you won't see it because he's not even Jerry Jones anymore. Like, you never see him down on the sidelines anymore.
That's true. You don't.
Like, where did that go? Because Jerry used to do it no matter what.
Yeah.
He used to come down for the fourth quarter and watch from the sideline. Yeah. And like, I thought that was cool. Like, I thought, like, hey, that if I was an owner, I would do that too.
And actually, a lot more owners took after that lead, and they started to do that too. Chief Muslim Arthur Blanks, the owner of the Falcons. He does that now. Oh, Vic, I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, WKRP.
Oh man.
He goes, running the football. What a novel concept. Yes, man.
Yes.
6 says Dietz is stirring the pot up like Kevin Nash and the rest of the NWO on Monday Night Nitro after egging Scott Flash Norton to whoop Ernest the Cat Miller's behind.
Absolutely. I still watch the old night. I love Nitro. I was a big Nitro guy. When Monday Night Wars, Nitro. I was a Nitro guy. I would not even watch Raw.
Because listen, at the beginning of Nitro, that was fire because you had Scott Hall, you had them break the fourth wall. You had everybody. You had Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Hollywood Hogan. You had them do something that was never done in professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
They broke the fourth wall. Nobody knew about all the stuff going on behind the scenes until then.
Mm-hmm. Which forced the WWE to do a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And
then that's where the Attitude Era was born.
Right.
The greatest era of all time.
The greatest era of wrestling
absolutely.
history. Yeah. Ryan says, Gerald says he wants a quarterback controversy so he can give some low-hanging red meat to the sports media in the Metroplex. You might be right, Ryan, but he's still at 80, almost 81 years old. I'm sort of with Dietz. That trap should be shut. Vic says, Sick, why are you tugging at the nostalgia strings? And I'm a wrestling fan. 6 says, we don't need to see this guy dance like Sean Combs on the sidelines. Who be his Mr. Farnsworth Bentley?
Jason
probably
Garrett.
His son.
Jason Garrett.
Well, yeah. Oh, that's right. Jason Garrett.
Yeah. Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy, all those guys.
Yeah, you're right. Because he wouldn't treat his son like trash. We could treat them too like trash. Victor says WKRP in Cincinnati is one of my favorite old school shows. Anybody got other favorite shows from the 70s and 90s? I would waste your
Barney
time.
Miller.
Yeah.
Sanford and Son.
Oh, always.
I got a bunch of them.
Oh yeah, Welcome Back, Kotter. I mean, I can name so many different strokes. I can go on, man. 6 says, "Are Johnny Fever? Are you Johnny Fever or Venus Flytrap?" And 6 says Johnny Vic says Johnny Fever. 6 says, "Well, Deeds, we still have the WWE Network here, and I've binged Nitro and Thunder."
That's the only reason to have That's the only reason to have the WWE.
It's now here in the States. It's on Peacock. So
yeah. The only reason I had the WWE Network was so I could watch Nitro from 1995. especially the Rodman the Rodman episodes are hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially when you know that the NBA Finals was going on at the time.
At the same time, yeah.
In the middle of the NBA Finals, he's just dropping in for no reason.
I was like, I was thinking back then. I was like, Rodman living his best life. Dude pulling down 20 boards on a Sunday night, and then he's on Monday night acting as if he's a wrestler. I'm like, how in the heck is this?
And the thing is, the team had no idea until he came out. That was one of the biggest reveals from the thing over the summer.
Last Dance. Yeah, Last Dance.
Yeah, but Jordan was like, we didn't know where he was. We couldn't find Rodman. And all of a sudden, we're watching TV, and there he is in Las Vegas.
Oh,
he just showed up.
Mm-hmm. Vic has this question. I'll get to that. Vic has this question. He says, I agree, Deeds. Rodman versus Karl Malone.
One of the worst matches ever. One of the worst matches ever.
Well, it was Rodman and Hogan
versus DDP and Malone.
Karl Malone and DDP. Yeah, and DDP held his own. DDP held his own in that, and everybody else in it was just absolutely.
It was just horrible. Yeah, no, listen. DDP made himself into a Hall of Famer.
He did,
and he did it late in life. He did it late. He started later than in his 30s.
I think he was in mid 30s when he actually started
taking bumps. Yeah,
started taking bumps, and then he was in his late 30s when he was actually starting to get a push.
Yeah, so then Goldberg broke him in half.
as he broke many people in half.
Yeah, and I swear,
Me too.
Who is that? Sick thing. You're the one with the WWE network. Go watch Halloween Havoc from '96 and watch the spear that DDP takes. I swear to God, I thought he died.
Well, Goldberg said himself he concussed himself in doing the first spear on him because he ended up doing 2 on him.
I thought he drove him through the. When he hit him, I went, "Oh my God!" There's no way he survived that, and he was done. And then DDP was done from that point on.
Yeah. Vic says good morning to you, Queen and Trisha. He also says DDP is one of the greatest underdog stories ever.
Yeah,
and he probably is one of the greatest saviors of wrestlers now because he has given people.
He's helped turn a lot of people's lives around. He's helped
big time turnarounds. Yes,
he's helped. Prior to Scott Hall passing away, he had helped Scott Hall. He's helping wrestlers now. He is helping a lot of these older wrestlers who had struggled with drug abuse and all that with his DDP yoga. So big shout outs to DDP, man. You're doing some great things.
Got much respect for him. All right, so you talked about your Cowboys, and I love your take on Gerald Dietz because I'm with you. I think he should keep his mouth shut. You talked about what we did the whip around. All right, so what is on your mind about college football this weekend?
College football this weekend. This is a big weekend for the games. It's a big weekend for me because as everybody knows, I don't make any of my top lists until about week 5. I'm planning on doing it after this week, and this is the big weekend to do it because I really want to see what Michigan can do. Michigan at Iowa. Is that's the big one at noon, and it's gonna be a great game. And again, any game at Iowa, you want to tune in for the first quarter. End of the first quarter, best tradition in all of sports. I don't care what you say. When everybody in the stadium is waving at the Children's Hospital, if it doesn't bring a tear to your eye, you're not human. It's the greatest tradition, and it's just a big game. I need to see what Michigan can do to compare them to the rest of the league, and then we get all the way into the night game, and the night game is even big with Clemson. And I just want to
hosting North Carolina State.
I was just seeing where that game was. And it's in Death Valley, which another cool tradition. Death Valley is really cool to watch them enter and go through the rock and all of that. That's another great tradition. But that game is big because what I saw from Clemson this past weekend is Clemson they have cracks, and I need to see if the cracks are big or if it was just Wake Forest, because Wake Forest will do that to you. We've seen Wake Forest it's a weird offense, so not a lot of people are ready for it. Sam Hartman put himself on the map, but Clemson was it. Clemson was able to walk away with a victory. I know I saw a lot of takes. How did Clemson only not look? Clemson, yeah, they went to overtime, but they won the game. That's what matters.
That's all
That's what matters. At the end of the day, all that matters is that you won the game.
WRL, yeah.
And I know a lot of people, it was Wake Forest, though. It was Newsflash, Wake Forest is a good team. Newsflash, Sam Hartman is an NFL-ready quarterback. There's no – I don't understand why everybody was putting down – it's not like Clemson put up 35 in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So the offense is there. The cracks were on defense, and I need to see if that was there. And NC State got to play UConn, so they had basically a bye week.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see Clemson's defense against a legit college offense. See where that defense is at before I vault them into a really. I know where to fit them, because I don't really know where Clemson fits right now. So I'm interested to watch that game. I'm interested to watch those two games. And then, of course, in the middle of the day, we get probably the best matchup of the weekend, which is my guy, Mike Gundy, the mullet, heading to Baylor.
Not the mullet. Yeah, Oklahoma State visiting Baylor. Oh, okay.
So that's another one. I need to see Oklahoma State. I need to see what kind of team Oklahoma State has, because they're right there in the mix. And one of my other guys, which everybody hates Lane Kiffin, but I love Lane. I love Lane Kiffin because I call him out for what he is. If you don't know Lane Kiffin's a troll, I don't know what. Yeah. I can't help you.
Yeah, he's inviting someone to punch him in the mouth. Yeah,
but I accept that. I just accept that as who he is.
I accept that as who he is too. Yeah, I accept who he is too.
And that's why I love it. He doesn't change. He doesn't try to help. He doesn't try to make people like him. He knows who he is. He goes full heel, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay. It's okay to have somebody that you hate.
Yeah. Yeah, that is good for sports.
But with Kentucky going to Mississippi, it's interesting that Kentucky is in the running here. So a lot of teams that are close, but we need to see more, and they're all going to be on display this weekend.
Well, speaking of teams that are close and need to see more, my eyes had to refocus to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. Did I actually see Florida State ranked? And of course, they will be hosting the one team that you say could divulge cracks in Wake Forest. Are they back, or are they still rebuilding?
From what I've seen of Florida State this year, and I'm going off that second game against LSU. Mm-hmm. Florida State's not back. I don't care what anybody says. Florida State is not back. That's not a Florida State team. Are they playing well and they're winning games? Yeah, we'll see against this team. Mm-hmm. If they can hold Wake Forest down, then I'll say, all right, they're on their way. But this is what Florida State should be. Florida State should not be 23rd in the 5th week of the season. When Florida State's back, they'll be in the top 5.
Obviously, yeah.
That's when Florida State will be back to being Florida State.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. 6 says, since the Mullets made a comeback, how soon will we be seeing Jerry Curl's return? Well, hey, Deion was bald a couple years back, and now he grew hair, and he has a hairline. So, yeah, you don't know. He might, in a couple of years, have a Jerry curl again. I don't know. I don't want to see that.
That would be great to have Deion with the Jerry curl on the sideline. On the sidelines, that would be awesome.
All right, so the Crimson Tide get a little bit of a test as they travel to Fayetteville. Do you think that they will stumble here, or do you think that they will right the ship and find
the last time we saw Alabama on the road, they needed a late field goal to mm-hmm. beat Texas. So mm-hmm. on the road, these things can happen. I don't think it's going to happen in the SEC. I think Nick is going to have them laser focused on the rest. They needed that. They needed Texas.
I think
they needed that Texas game to get them to buy in. And Nick will not let that go. Nick will say, you guys should have lost. And now that we've won, we can't let that happen again.
And that is key because their stretch is rather brutal. So after that game, they host A&M next Saturday, and then they go to Rocky Top on the 15th to face off against Tennessee. So
finally, the first week in October is an important game.
Mm-hmm.
It's finally an interesting matchup instead of just a mauling of Tennessee.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
it's taken almost 10 years to get that game back to being important.
Yeah, and if Tennessee does his job, it could probably be a battle of 2 top 5 teams. Who knows? But that I'm looking forward to seeing down the line. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the Christmas Tide needed a wake-up call, and that game in Austin provided said wake-up call.
And Arkansas, I watched them play Cincinnati. I watched them play Mississippi. I think it was Ole Miss. It was Ole Miss or something. They were playing somebody, and they were going back. And no, it was South Carolina, where they were just going back and forth. I've seen Arkansas play great, and then for stretches of the game, they just check out. They just absolutely. It's like they're not even there. And they did that against South Carolina, where they were up 20, and all of a sudden you look over and South Carolina's driving to take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, wait, how did this happen? You can't do that against Alabama.
No.
Against Alabama, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
As they should.
So that needs to happen. KJ Jefferson is a great quarterback. He's not accurate though. And to beat Alabama, you have to be the one thing you have to be is accurate, because if you miss you miss slightly, Alabama's not just going to pick that off. They're gonna pick it off, and their defense is going to get points out of it. That's Nick Saban. That's been Nick Saban's MO since his days at Michigan State.
Yeah,
is if you make a mistake, we're gonna make it. We're not just gonna make it bad for you. We're gonna make it hurt.
Yeah. That you're right. That's how Saban led teams are. Well, I guess I might as well focus on I hate to say it this way, the only true competition I think the Tide has, which is Georgia. Now, of course, they put a foot in South Carolina, going to Columbia and doing so. Of course, now they travel to Columbia, Missouri, to do the same thing to Missouri and Mizzou. After that, they got 4 straight home games. The first one being Auburn, of course, the Deep South's oldest rivalry. The last one being the aforementioned Tennessee, and that is in November. So, and I should say not for 4 straight home games. 3 out of 4 home games, of course. The third
one neutral site game.
Yeah, the one neutral site game being I like to say the cocktail party. It's one of the
best names for a rivalry left standing. I'm surprised they haven't changed it yet.
Yeah, but
because they seem to change every other great rivalry. They seem to change, like the Civil War, which will always be the Civil War. I don't care what Oregon and Oregon State say. It's going to be the Civil War until the day I die.
So looks like Georgia is in a good stretch, because really Florida is not. They really are not. Well, in the words of Denny Green, they're not who we thought they were.
Florida can't move they can't play offense. Their offense is pathetic.
So the stretch that Georgia has, which is Auburn, Vanderbilt. Of course, they go to Jacksonville to play Florida, and then come back to play Tennessee until they get to the Vols. Do you see the Bulldogs stumble at any point before then?
I don't see that. I didn't see them stumbling at any point during the year to begin with. But with the way Stetson Bennett is playing, Stetson Bennett has stepped up his game. He's probably the most. Yes. The funny thing is, he was the MVP of the national championship game, and he's probably the most improved player of anybody this season. And that's saying something with how good he's playing. He is playing some of the best football that we've seen. And his story is awesome. Just walk on. How many guys did they bring in? How many transfer guys did they bring in to to play quarterback, and yet they have this kid just walk on the field. He just walks on, and now he's their leader. He's the unquestioned leader of that team.
Yeah, and I think seeing that improvement, it almost makes you say, "Oh boy." When the possibility of a chink in an arm could happen,
and you watch just watch the game. Just watch the game film of Stetson Bennett play quarterback and KJ Jefferson play quarterback. The guys I just saw. Watch the ball placement. The ball placement when KJ Jefferson throws it, the guy makes his receivers make unbelievable catches, or they catch the ball in traffic or whatever. When Stetson Bennett throws the ball to his guys, they catch it in stride and they're off to the races. That's the difference between being a good quarterback and being accurate. Right. He's accurate with the ball so that his guys can make plays after it. They're not just catching it, all right, big 20-yard play. No, they're catching a 5-yard slant and turning it into a 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah. And that is huge with quarterbacks, considering you're giving the wide receiver room to operate and not throwing them in danger.
And then we talk about that. I mean, we talk about all the players Georgia lost on that defense.
Yes.
And their defense is almost better.
Still.
I mean, statistically, they're better than they were last year.
Defense is awesome still. That is scary. That strikes of a reload theme instead of a rebuild theme.
That speaks to Kirby Smart.
And Kirby
knows how to coach
recruit.
Defense.
He knows how to coach
defense.
Listen, he was also one of the major recruiters at Alabama.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Kirby Smart was a big part of the Alabama recruiting team. So
because that's what
doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me that he's able to go to Georgia and do the same thing.
Yeah, because that's what tells me. He knows. I agree with you, Deets. He does know how to coach, but I also agree with Wise. He also knows how to recruit, and because if you're going to lose that much stellar talent on defense like they did last year, and that defense looks good, if not better, this year. Oh man, yeah. Kirby Smart.
I mean, and that does wonders for recruiting as well. When people see that, they go, well, this guy's got a scheme. I want to be part of that scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just getting guys. It's not just getting. Hey, we pulled the top corner. We pulled the top this. We pulled the top that. Kirby Smart's pulling guys for his system. He's pulling guys who are ESPN ranked. This is why I don't care about. I don't even care about recruiting rankings. I don't even pay attention to them till I see the guys on the field. You can pull a guy who's the 25th ranked corner, but if he fits your system, he's the number one corner.
What I've always argued about with people is I remember when back when I was living in Houston and they would talk about the University of Texas. This was when Mac Brown was the head coach of Texas. They would always tout, well, Mac Brown has the top recruiting class of the offseason. Like, okay, that's good. I don't want number one in March and April. I want number one in January. Will that translate to wins? Will that translate to having them go to the national championship game? And they only went twice with one victory. So, yeah, you can be number one in the recruiting battle and in recruiting wars. But yeah, to your point, Deeds, does it translate to on the field? Would you actually have to coach this talent up or have them fit the proper system? Because you can have all the talent in the world if they don't work like a cohesive unit, especially on defense, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. And we have to give well, speaking of Mac Brown and his North Carolina team, we have to give some props to a team that North Carolina played one of the greatest games of all time this year when they were at Appalachian State.
Mm-hmm.
But last weekend, what James Madison did to Appalachian State, you have to give props to James Madison right now. Their first year in Division I, and they're just running through people. And Their first game, they absolutely throttled Middle Tennessee. And people will say, "Oh, why is that important?" Why is that important? Go watch what Middle Tennessee did to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And James Madison throttled that group.
Yeah.
So,
it wasn't even close.
Ask me if those were the same team. I don't know what happened to Miami's just and Miami does the Miami things where they just blow up their entire season, blow up their entire. I have no idea what's going on down in Miami.
I don't even think they know what's going on.
They don't even know. This is what really frustrates me about the recent trend of college football. It's, oh, well, Tyler Van Dyke has a bad game. Well, we're gonna pull him. No, you have a guy like Tyler Van Dyke. You stick by your guy.
Yeah.
And you let him ride out.
Right.
Did he have a terrible game against Middleton? Yes, he had a terrible game.
Yeah, let him grow. Yeah.
But he's a college kid.
Yeah.
This is a kid who's gonna be a star in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you just and Oklahoma did the same thing with Spencer Rattler. Mm-hmm. They're just, this is what's happening with college football because everybody needs to have it. Because they're afraid.
It's so much money. Listen, there's so
much money.
There's so much money involved. There's so much money involved.
But they're afraid. They're like, oh, we recruited somebody else, and we need to play them.
But it's no longer.
We need to play them. Otherwise, they're going to hit the transfer portal. This is the bad thing about the transfer portal.
These schools are making too much money. These schools are making too much money to go out and lay goose eggs. They're not trying. Again, for me, it's all about the money with this now. So when it comes to schools like Miami and all these other things, they have they have some big contracts that they need to show the networks like, hey, we putting out a good product. So yeah, I don't agree. The transfer portal is damaging to the game, but you got to look at it. It had to evolve because now the way they were treating some of these players, where that if the coaches left, right? Because the coaches can leave whenever they want. They get offered a bigger contract at another school, they can leave. So the players shouldn't be punished either with the fact that the coach that they wanted to play for is no longer there. And that's what some of these rules were doing, was affecting these players.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's given the players a good thing. It's given the players, a chance to have their say in everything. And I totally get that. If your coach leaves, like, yeah, you should be able to be like, yeah, the guy who recruited me left, so I'm getting the hell out of here. But it's also making coaches just make stupid. This is a stupid decision.
I don't disagree with you.
It's a stupid decision to sit. They're going to sit a quarterback who, if he plays out the season, he probably goes in the top 10 in the draft. That's how much talent he has. Now that he's sitting, they're gonna destroy this kid's career. And what's he gonna do? He's gonna do what Spencer Rattler did. He's gonna transfer to another school, and everybody's gonna forget about him.
And yeah, I agree with you. They need to do things the right way, fix this transfer portal thing, whatever they plan on doing.
If you want the exact opposite of this, go look at what Michigan's doing. Michigan has 4 quarterbacks on their roster right now that could be starters anywhere else. And Michigan had Cade McNamara start game 1, and then they had J.J. McCarthy come in and play game 2. And they saw the difference in the offense, and they said, "You know what? We're going to JJ Cade. I know you won all those games last year, but this kid's different." And there's nothing you can say to that because we've seen what's happening on the field.
But again, now you got to look at it how at the coaching staff. Like you have Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. I'm not saying Cristobal is not good, but Miami's been on the decline for years now. It's not the same you. It's not the same you that we grew up watching with all the great players that they had.
Oh,
but
it's definitely not. It's not. This isn't the you. This isn't even the Howard Schnellenberger you.
No.
Like this is how bad Miami football has gotten. They're basically irrelevant. They're basically irrelevant,
and they thought it was going to change. They thought it was,
it was changing. Tyler Van Dyke was that change. It was that guy. He was that guy that you could look at, and yeah, I get it. He had a bad game.
So Deeds, all right. So
but you buy into your guys.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
Ride that out.
You have to go with
this kid's gonna be better than whatever you've got going on. But Miami's caught in that we have to win every game. Like I'd hate to tell you, you're not gonna win every game.
No,
you're Miami.
It's not the same Miami as before. It's nowhere near the same Miami that they were before. So to ruin this kid's career because you need to win now is ridiculous. Like, why don't you grow with this kid? Let him get his bumps and bruises and get the experience, and then maybe he won't make those mistakes that he's making.
Exactly, and you give a guy a chance to grow. You give a guy a chance to grow into the position. Like guys have to be able to make those mistakes. Cool, McCabe. We addressed this last week. We addressed big plays.
Okay, so now you see the message. You see my man Cool has some receipts for you.
Yeah. Three INTs. I'm not talking about That's
the Miami.
not a Pro Bowl player. I don't care what you tell me. 3 interceptions is not a Pro Bowl player. That doesn't. It just doesn't fit for me. I don't know if he was a Pro Bowl. If AJ Terrell was not a Pro Bowler last year, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, yes, my man did not take kindly to your comments about Slay. That's for sure.
all I'm saying is they paid all that money to bring Darius Slay in 35 games. In 35 games coming into this season, he's played 35 games for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he has 4 interceptions. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe they don't throw to his side.
That's a stat that I would like to see. I would like to see how many targets he had all year.
Yeah. If Cool, you can find that out. Find out his target. There you go. Find out. Let me know his targets, Cool. I would like to know what his targets are.
Absolutely.
Maybe they just don't throw it to that side. Maybe they don't throw it to his side.
Maybe they're not. I'm not watching. I'm just saying there are guys that have 6 or 7 interceptions that don't make the Pro Bowl. So I just don't know how. I don't know how he made. I have no idea.
But yes, oh man, my man Cole Johnson had to step away. He says thanks to everybody for showing love as always. Snowman hopefully should be here momentarily, but me and Deets are gonna hold it down for now.
All right.
Yes, we're holding it down.
So I'm interested to know, Wise. What were your feelings about Monday night?
It just showed what my team lacks, which is that offensive line. And it showed me that Daniel Jones is an NFL quarterback. But he's listen, since he's been in the league, he's been the most hit quarterback in the NFL. So unless the Giants can fix that line, this man's gonna get destroyed because they're not protecting him. He's shown he's capable. He's shown he has the arm, he has the wheels. 7 first downs. He ran for 7 first downs. He shouldn't be having to do that run for his life. It shouldn't happen. It just showed me where my team is lacking, and that offensive line is not it. That offensive line needs Evan Neal is, I don't know, but hopefully they can get it together. But it just showed me where my team's lacking.
Evan Neal got a he got a very high education.
He got abused. Let's say that it was. He got abused.
Dan Quinn as defensive coordinator, he took every advantage of that.
Yes.
Going in.
Listen, when you see Micah Parsons on your side and you're jumping, this you have to. It's unacceptable. I get it. Micah Parsons is the best linebacker, best defensive player in football today. I will not deny that. He's
the second best defensive player. He's not Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald is. Let's get this.
Aaron Donald had 2 sacks the other day.
Okay, yes, I get that. I understand that. But Micah Parsons is the truth, and I'm not even a Dallas fan. And I can see he's going to be something very, very special. He's that already now. I'm saying you have to account for him 100%.
When you're for Micah Parsons, there's nothing else you can say about Micah Parsons other than the guy is mentioned in the same
LT
as Lawrence Taylor. when it's you and Lawrence Taylor, that's good company to be in.
When LT is singing your praises, you're special. And Micah Parsons is special. I'm not going to deny this. Like I said, to me, he is the best. You say Aaron Donald, I nothing but respect for Aaron Donald, but he's on the tail end of his career. Let's get that straight. He's not the young buck he was before. Micah Parsons is only his second year. And look at the attention this man is generating. Like I said, you have to account for where he's at all times on that field. This man runs a 4.3.
He's a monster, and
you're talking about a linebacker his size keeping up with receivers. There's no one. Aaron Donald's not doing that. Aaron Donald is not doing that. Let's get that straight.
Not. But we saw what Aaron Donald is. And
we know what Aaron Donald is. We know what Aaron Donald is.
Dear Arizona, let me write a letter to the Arizona Cardinals. Don't single block Aaron Donald. He will destroy you. They tried to block him with one guy the entire game, and he just ate the backfield.
And listen, Aaron Donald is still a beast.
Like,
he's still a beast.
I don't know how they didn't get the memo. Like, there's a reason why Aaron Donald was a Super Bowl MVP. Like,
because he's a monster. There's no doubt about it.
Like, I still don't understand. Some of these teams, I just don't understand what they're trying to do. Like,
Who does know? Some of these.
Like, I was talking to some people, and the Cincinnati Bengals, are they actively trying to get Joe Burrow killed?
Again, another team that needs. Supposedly, they addressed the offensive line needs this offseason. And it still looks like the same offensive line to me. And Joe Burrow is the real deal. Now, if you give him opportunities to stay in the pocket and throw the ball, you're going to win a lot of more games. But if you treat him like how Daniel Jones is getting treated, where your offensive line is just going, "Olé, yay," it's a wrap. He's gonna keep getting hit. He's gonna get hurt. It's facts. These are facts.
I mean, now, you guys talked earlier about whether Kyle Wilson can turn around the things for the Jets. No, he can't, because Kyle Wilson can't rush the passer.
That's the Jets' problem. They have no.
The Jets just played the worst offensive line. The worst offensive line to this point. The worst offensive line I've seen in the two games. The Steelers and the Cowboys ate up the Cincinnati backfield, and the Jets couldn't get
No
any pressure at all.
No pressure. And they supposedly addressed that with Jermaine Johnson. Carl Lawson was coming back. We'll see. But as far as offense, he's going to help that offense move.
I sure hope so. You can't keep living with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, yes, he did well in one quarter. He had a great quarter of play. Yeah. Other than that, I never understood why they were buying into Joe Flacco. Why they were throwing it 50 times. What are you doing
with Joe Flacco? Absolutely, I agree with you on that.
Hand the ball to Bryce Hall, and maybe they're worried because Bryce Hall has. Bryce Hall was used basically. I think he had more carries than anybody I've ever seen in college. Maybe they're worried about saving him, but
but you have Michael Carter. You have Michael Carter. You have a two-headed running back because Michael Carter proved last year he can run the rock. He can play. He can catch the rock. So again, they need to do what Dallas did and use the studs that you have.
And the Bengals are going up and down the field on you. Why are you throwing the ball 50 times? Run the football.
With Joe Flacco.
Give your defense a chance to rest. Run the football and guess what? If you have the ball, Joe Burrow doesn't. Somebody needs to tell the Jets 100%. If you have the football, the other team doesn't.
And it's crazy because Matt LaFleur comes from the Niners and they run the rock. So why is Joe Flacco passing the ball? Listen, give it to Breece Hall, Michael Carter, have those two studs run the rock. If it's the offensive line, then what you're gonna do to fix it? Something has to be. Anyway, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. Like you said, what are some of these teams doing? So Cool has some stats for you. Here we go. 40 targets for 740 yards in 2021.
40 targets. So he had 40 targets and six of them were defended.
Listen, this is
what I'm saying. 6 out of 40.
I don't know.
6 out of 40. That's, let's see. One. Well, that's like at 1/8. 1/8 of the time he defended the pass.
I don't know.
That's my math right there. So, is that, and right now Philadelphia can ride high on what they've got going on because they're doing what I expected them to do. They're doing what a lot of us expected them to do. Let's see what happens when they play a game against somebody they're not supposed to do.
We'll see.
I haven't seen them. We'll get their.
We will find out this week. We will find out this weekend. Because I feel like I said last week, Jacksonville is the real deal. They finally have a coach. They have a coach.
They have two. They have 3 head coaches there in Jacksonville.
Listen, Jacksonville is the real deal.
Because you're a Giants fan, and so you know what's going on. You know what Tom Coughlin can do. Tom Coughlin, he is another head coach there. Doug Marrone is there. These are guys who have coached in the National Football.
They have people in place now that have turned. Doug Peterson was a great. He led Philly to a Super Bowl. Saying, and like you said before, he got fired for starting Jalen Hurts. He saw something in Jalen Hurts that other people didn't see.
It's the best thing. He got fired for starting Jalen Hurts, and yet Jalen Hurts is now the starting quarterback. Like, I don't understand why everybody was up. I said it at the time. I said, what are we doing? Like, he wants to see the young guy. That's fine. That's what week 17 is for.
Yeah.
And then all hell breaks loose. They accuse him of cheating or whatever, and then everybody react. I thought at the time, like, I thought a Super Bowl meant something, but apparently it doesn't.
Listen, it's going to be a hell of a game. I'm sure. For his staff demands, not Hurts. This is what Pedersen got fired for. His staff demands and not Hurts.
This is what was presented. I remember these conversations. It was week-long conversations of everything, and it's just a storyline. It's just a funny storyline of this week. I'm so interested to see what happens in Jacksonville.
It's gonna.
Where is it? Where is that game? Is that game in Jacksonville or Philly?
Cool. Where is it at? Y'all playing home? I don't know. Let me see. Let me find out. Let's find out. Where's that season the team won.
It's they're Philly's at home.
Philly's at home. Oh, that's gonna be a good game.
Philly's at home. So this is gonna be. I think it's another. I think it's another trouble game for. I think it's gonna be a trouble game for Jacksonville. If this game were in Jacksonville, I'd give Jacksonville a chance. But in Philly, I don't think they have a chance.
Cool. You ain't gonna like what I say, but I think they're gonna give the Eagles a run for their money. I really do. I feel it's gonna be a great hell of a game. But again, a lot of people are sleeping on Jacksonville. They have that talent. They have some talent there. They finally got a head coach that's not Urban Meyer. So we'll see. All right. So on tonight's game, it's Miami and Cincinnati. Who you got?
I got Miami. Until I see Cincinnati able to block someone for real, I gotta go with the way Miami plays, and coming off that emotional game in Buffalo. I think I really like where Miami's at right now. And
Miami surprised the world. They shocked the world.
You know, they're at a point where pick your poison, because Buffalo did what they surrounded Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle goes wild.
Yeah, listen.
The week before, Baltimore, they tried to roll everybody to Waddle. Tyreek Hill goes wild. So
you're absolutely right. You have two number ones on your team, because Waddle's a beast. Tyreek Hill, we already know what he can do. They definitely have pick your poison, and they have other weapons as well. Listen, Miami, I think Miami wins this game. I think their defense is too much for Cincinnati. They barely got out of Dallas with Dallas defense showed you that if you do the right thing, you can contain Joe Burrow. I think Miami has a pretty good defense as well, so we'll see.
I mean, we continuously hammer. We hammered the Jets. We hammered the Jets already, but Miami's not going to rush for the entire game. Miami's going to blitz you. Miami's going to blitz Cincinnati. They're going to blitz, which the Jets apparently are incapable of doing. And Salah's a defensive guy. I don't understand why he doesn't blitz, but he does. That's his style. But Miami's going to blitz, and that line's going to have to choose. And I said this. I don't know if I said it last week on this program or if it was on another podcast. I said it. Joe Mixon can't play. He can't be on the field. And Joe Mixon's a great runner, but he can't block. It's not even where he can't block. Nobody can block the wrong guys.
No, nobody can block.
He blocks the wrong guys.
Nobody on that. It seems like nobody on that offense can block.
You can't be a running back in a shotgun offense and not be able to pick up blitzers.
That's why I love Saquon.
The offensive line is not going to block everybody. So as a running back, you have to block.
So Cool says it's important to have 2 number 2s. Guess who else has 2 number 2s? Yeah, Cool.
Who has 2 number 1? Yeah, absolutely. And
2 number 1s, yes.
Thank God to my fantasy team that Jalen Hurts finally realized See what happens when he realized Devontae Smith is on the field?
Yes.
The last 2 weeks,
I have him on my fantasy team. That first game, I was so pissed off. The last 2 games, not so much. I'm much more happy with the fact that he's found my man Devontae Smith.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens when you finally get him. I mean, they don't get him the ball at all against Detroit, and then the last 2 games, I think the last game he had like 170 yards.
He's shown what he could do. He's shown that he is a true number 1. So,
now let's. I mean, I just want him to throw to Devontae Smith because I have him on my fantasy team too. But speaking for Philadelphia's offense, now let's get Dallas Goedert involved, and now you're cooking with gas.
Oh, listen, Eagles have that weapon. Eagles have weapons. So yeah, you don't understand defense. Oh, listen, no, they keyed up on AJ, so you had to go to Devontae, and now you can't double team either one. You have to play single coverage on each one because you leave one open, the other one's gonna. If you cover one, the other one's gonna be open.
If you're a defense, you have to do one. You can't leave. If you leave those guys one on one, they're gonna burn. They're gonna burn whoever's on.
Absolutely, they're both gonna. If you can't cover one and then leave the other one open. There's no way you can do that. He was cool, yeah, absolutely, and they paid for it, and the Lions paid for it because AJ Brown went off. Then what happened? The next week they try to take out AJ Brown. Devontae Smith goes off. And then this last game against Washington, Jalen Hurts showed, listen, I could throw it to everybody, which he did. He spread that ball around. He gave that love. He gave the love to everyone. So
yeah, and we said it going into the season. We said it. That's what we wanted to see from Jalen. Jalen is showing us exactly who he is. And I fully expected this. I knew of this. I knew of this when I saw him play at Alabama. I knew this when I saw him play in the SEC championship game. When he took over for Tua and took that team down the field, I said, this is, everybody said, oh, he's just a runner. No, this kid's a passer.
No, he's talented. He's very talented. He's shown that he's an NFL quarterback. He has shown he's an NFL quarterback.
Yeah. Speaking of NFL quarterbacks, I know Cole is going to go in on this probably tomorrow, and I know he's been perusing the internet, and people are getting up. Calm down with Cooper Rush. Like Cooper Rush, I'm a Cowboys fan. Cooper Rush is playing great. Like, good job.
But he's not. He's just asked to manage the game. He's not asked to win the games. Yes, he's not asked to win the game. He's holding
service right now, and that's all we need him to do.
You just need him to manage the game. Absolutely.
What you're seeing is we don't need, and this is for Jerry because he wants Dak Prescott to come back. Apparently, when Dak Prescott comes back, we don't need Dak Prescott to be Superman. We don't need him to throw the ball 50 times. We need people to throw the ball effectively, which is what Cooper Rush has done.
Oh yes.
But for all these people that are out there, I have a friend who is a Cowboys fan, and we were talking to, and he's like, "Man, I like this team better with Cooper Rush." And I was like, "What are you?" It's like, "Are you insane?"
Well, because when Mike McCarthy has Dak in a game, he feels he needs to pass the ball all the time. With Cooper Rush, he's like, "No, I got to run the rock," which he did because Tony Pollard went off for 100 yards, Zeke went over for 70-something yards. So if he can do the same thing when Dak comes back and not put all the pressure on Dak and feed your running backs, it's going to be the same results. You're going to win games. But if you think Dak is going to win the game for you throwing the rock, you're going to lose. You might win. You might end up with winning 12, 10, 50, whatever many games you're going to win, But when playoff time comes, that's not going to happen because that's when teams start putting the screws together. And if you ain't running the rock, you're going to lose.
And by the way, I know everybody's enamored with the Odell Beckham catch against the Cowboys. That was absolutely insane. But that catch by CeeDee Lamb
was sick. It was sick.
To me, it was even better. Not just because it was the Cowboys.
I won't say it was better than Odell catch. It was a phenomenal catch.
It won the game.
It was a phenomenal catch.
The game was on the line. The Odell Beckham catch. The game was not on the line when he made that catch.
Of course, listen, the catch was phenomenal, and I was celebrating. And I like I said, I have CeeDee Lamb on my fantasy team, so it was a hurtful thing for me. But in a way, it kind of eased the pain because it helped me win my first league game in that fantasy league. But yeah.
And that being said, looking at the rosters around the league and seeing all the guys that are playing, why is Odell Beckham on the sidelines? Why is he on the sidelines cheerleading in New Orleans? Why is he not on a roster?
Because no one's going to sign him while he's still hurt. He's still recovering from knee surgery.
Is he still in recovery?
He's still recovering. He's still recovering. Yes, he's not gonna be ready till late in the season. So yeah, he's probably not gonna sign with anyone until he's really ready.
So, but I guarantee you, the minute he's healthy, somebody needs to snatch him up because watching the wide receiver play in the league, there are teams that are just dreadful.
40 targets for 60 games is 2.5 targets a game.
Okay. Okay. I don't.
Listen,
what's the league at?
I'm just telling you, my man Cool McCain just took offense that you just went ass slay. That's all.
I know. I get the math. I don't know what. I mean, I don't know if that's. I don't know what the league average. I don't know what the league average is. I have no idea where that plays. But I'll stick to my production wise for all the money they paid to Darius Slay, 4 interceptions. I mean, it's now up to 6. So I'm guessing Darius Slay's a Pro Bowler this year already. That's all I can say. I was surprised. I was shocked when I saw 3. I was like, 3 interceptions? And there are guys like AJ Terrell who did not make the Pro Bowl. And I know AJ Terrell had at least 5 interceptions last year. Now, whether AJ made the Pro Bowl, I would hope that he did, but I love AJ. I love AJ Terrell with the Falcons. I've been on him since and people hated him coming out of college because they remember that game against LSU where he just got torched. And people said, oh, look, this guy can't. Yeah, there's a reason why he went 15th in the draft. Because AJ Terrell is that good.
Listen, the Falcons, they're adding pieces. They're heading in that right direction. We'll see. But this year, they're not. Listen, the NFL season is long. It's still early in the season. Some teams might get it together. Some teams might not. We'll see after a few more weeks. We'll really be able to tell who's really legit and who isn't. But all right, yeah, we're here chilling. Cole had to step away. He had a meeting to go to. I don't know if Snowman's gonna come in, but we will be here till 10 o'clock.
So
yeah. So what's going on, everybody out there? Let's see.
So Miami and Cincinnati. So it's Cincinnati. I mean, this is a huge game for Cincinnati.
Listen, if Cincinnati wins this game, they get to 500. And their division
if they go to 1-3 to start the season,
it's gonna not look good. It won't be looking too good for them. But again, if Miami goes to 4-0,
Miami is just they're just a year behind. Their year. I thought this was what Miami was going to be last year, and now you're seeing it. And speaking of quarterback play, Tua Tua is playing out of his mind.
So with the Tua situation, the NFLPA is investigating why he came back so early. They felt that he was in concussion protocol, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's a weird story that he came back in the game, and the NFLPA is saying, "Oh, he shouldn't have been back. He shouldn't have been back," or that they fudged the concussion test. That's just a weird story all around.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out what happens when they whatever they get out of this investigation. So
I mean,
we're
what is the punishment going to be? They already won the game. They already won the game. The game's over.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else you gonna go back and play. All right, we got to replay the fourth quarter and Tua can't play. Like, no,
it's already played. The game's already played.
Like, yeah, the game's already over.
But I guess they're looking for them so that it won't happen again. I guess they just listen. The NFLPA to me is nonsense anyway. They don't really, if they really cared about their players, they would fight for the fact that they need all contracts to be guaranteed, not partially. All contracts to be guaranteed, because a lot of these men are putting their lives when they play this game. And for your contracts to be partially guaranteed is nonsense. It's nonsense. None of the other sports do that.
For the comment from Sick Diggy, I know Sick Diggy's gonna remember, but from what's it from the Al Pacino movie, Every Given Sunday, are you hurt or are you injured? When he asked Jamie Foxx, are you hurt or are you injured?
Yo, Sick is just going, okay, so it starts with this. So you check it, you feel that interceptions is all that matters. That's what he says. And then he also says you expect him to get an interception for every 5 passes, but he gets it.
Yeah, I can be a hater. That's fine. I don't care. I don't hate it. I just don't. Again, the production.
He wants you to acknowledge him.
I acknowledge Slay's a good player. I acknowledge that when they picked him up. The expectation. Maybe my expectations are too high for him. I don't know. That's all I can tell you. And
good morning, Latina. Sorry about that. Yes, good morning. Good morning, Latina.
That's right. In the program.
Yes. The program was a great movie. Yes.
The program is great. It's my number one. I talked about 61 before. The program is my number one sports movie of all time. I love the program.
It's in my top 5. I have it's definitely in my top 5.
The quotes in the program are outstanding. And Omar Epps is my favorite. Although I will wear number 2, we are indubitably number 1. Just makes up words.
Oh man. But yes, Latina, good morning. It's always a pleasure to have you in the chat. I hope that mosquito regrets messing with you. Definitely. Well, who else? Let's see who else is out there. Who else has something to say?
Oh, the Hawk doesn't want to. The Hawk, you don't want to know my thoughts.
What's your thoughts on Washington and Dallas?
You don't want to know my thoughts, and I'm not being a homer here. I can't get behind Carson Wentz.
Nobody can get behind Carson Wentz. No one can get behind Carson Wentz.
The way Washington's season has gone is the exact opposite of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Washington Redskins have played one good quarter all year. And it happened to be the fourth quarter against Jacksonville. Just like Jacksonville played one bad quarter all year. It happened to be that first game. for Jacksonville, it's not even a quarter. They just played a bad half a quarter and just a bad interception that led to a loss. But what Washington and Hawk, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Go right ahead. Go right ahead and correct me if I'm wrong. But Antonio Gibson is on your team. Give him the ball.
Why are you having Carson Wentz trying to win?
You have Carson Wentz as your quarterback, and you have a three-headed monster at running back. Why are you not running the ball? Why are you not running the ball more? Yeah. And we could say this about so many other teams. Like if you don't have Pat Mahomes, or if you don't have Aaron Rodgers, if you don't have Tom Brady as your quarterback, why are you not running the ball with your three best players are running backs? Give them the ball. McKissick is a good player.
Oh, McKissick does it all. He catches, runs. It's the same. It was the same thing with Dallas. I don't know why they feel that they had to pass the ball. Run the rock, man.
Oh, by the way, Latina Cobra Kai is an awesome show, and I haven't seen the last 2 seasons. It is the exact opposite of everything that we get in, and I've talked about this at multiple occasions about what we get when we get these nostalgia programs. They try to break us down. Cobra Kai is totally different. Cobra Kai acknowledges our fandom, and they give it to us at all levels. I love Cobra Kai.
So cool. Cool says let's not get it twisted. You are his guy, but he doesn't approve your slate takes. That's all.
Cool. We say it all the time. We say it all the time. It's the motto of Fit Down Sports Show. Tell me why you're wrong. I'll tell you why I'm wrong, and you tell me, and I can take someone having a different opinion than me. I welcome it, and I'm glad to have these discussions. It doesn't change. It doesn't change. I don't feel any animosity towards Cool. It's all good, man.
He said, "Listen." He says you're his guy.
Yeah, it's all good.
Before that, he says, "Listen." He says, "Me and Dietz, that's my man."
Del Rio is the most hated man in Washington because that defense is garbage.
Listen, they missing Chase Young. They're definitely missing him.
They're missing a lot. They're missing a lot of things on that Washington defense.
Yeah.
But again, if your defense is struggling, run the football.
Is my name Wise? Yes, it is. But well, you want to know my government name? That's what it is, Latino.
Well, yes, but as far as Hawk said, what do I think is going to happen and why? I think it's going to be closer than it's going to be a typical Washington-Dallas game. It's going to be closer than people think. But I think the Cowboys will pull it out because Carson Wentz will do something stupid,
which he always does.
which you can
almost guarantee that every game.
You can guarantee he's going to do something stupid.
Welcome, DD. Thank you for stopping by and showing some love.
The Cowboys are not far away from Mike McCarthy going Mike McCarthy and throwing the ball 50 times and ruining what we got a good thing going. So you never know what's going to happen.
We'll see. To me, if Mike McCarthy reverts his old McCarthy ways, Dallas is in trouble.
But I'll have to be interested to see what Snowman says tomorrow when on Friday to do a little promotion. You know, when you guys do your picks tomorrow, I'll be interested to see what Snowman says, because Snowman is kind of the same way with me, and I'll give this to Cool. You know, cool, you're an Eagles fan. You can thank me for that Super Bowl. I picked against the Eagles every week in that Super, that's why they won. I was telling somebody that the other day. I said, he was like, my buddy Dan was like, yeah, I'm an Eagles fan, and I was like, well, you can thank me for that Super Bowl. It was a running joke.
I was not rooting for Tom Brady. There was no way I was rooting for Tom. As much as I don't really hate the Eagles as much. Okay, let's get it straight. Let's put it straight. Let's just put it out there. Dallas is the most hated team in our division. Let's just put it out. Every Dallas is the most hated team in our division. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Every team hates the Cowboys. And then you ask them like, oh, what about the Eagles? They're like, oh, the Eagles are fine.
Yeah.
We don't care.
I don't really dislike the Eagles that much. I dislike all the teams in my division, but there's a little bit more oomph towards Dallas. Definitely a little bit more. I don't like using the word hate for me personally, but I really do dislike the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, for me, it's the same way. It's the same way with the Giants. It's the same way with the Giants. Like, the only reason I want the Giants to lose is because I live in Connecticut, where I live around more Giants fans than any other fan base, and I just don't want to hear it from them. So that's the only reason I root against the Giants. Is I just don't want to hear it from them. But other than that, I don't hate. I actually like watching the Giants play. I like watching the Giants play this year because I like Daniel Jones. I know he's gonna get martyred. He's gonna be the one that gets caught up in.
He's gonna get the one that gets the blame, and it's not his fault. Listen, he's had so many offensive coordinators. He's never had an offensive line. He's finally got a healthy Saquon Barkley. He has talent, and I think Brian Daboll is the coach to bring him to the next level. But if you don't have an offensive line, we are going to lose. It's just going to happen. It's just going to continue to happen. And I'm a realist. As much as I love my Giants, if we can't protect Daniel Jones, because I do not call him Danny Dimes, he has not earned that name with me.
No, that's the worst. That's the worst nickname. I said it the first time somebody said it. I used to do a show. With a couple guys, and somebody said that, and I went, no, that's the worst nickname ever. We're not using that.
I don't use that name. Horrible. I don't call him that name. It's Daniel Jones. Until he shows me he deserves that name, no. So I don't call him that. But it's not his fault. That interception he threw, it wasn't his fault. His receiver fell down. So he actually didn't fumble the football. As many times as he got hit, he didn't fumble the ball. So I was proud of the fact that because he has a tendency to put the ball on the ground. But he didn't do it. And listen, like I said, he is the most hit quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
The most hit quarterback in the NFL. And if they cannot fix that line, he's just going to continue to get hit, and get hit.
Yeah, I'd say this. The Giants are going to be put in a very odd position at the end. If they continue winning, they're going to be put in a very tough spot because they're not going to get if they keep winning, they're not going to get a decent draft pick. And if they're outside of the top 15, what kind? I mean, are you going to get the third or fourth best college quarterback, or are you going to stick with Daniel Jones?
But it doesn't make a difference.
And I have a feeling that the Giants are going to go. Well, we're going to go a different direction.
Listen, it doesn't matter. Be a disaster. It doesn't matter what quarterback you bring in, because if he continues to get hit, no quarterback is going to survive on that line.
Mm-hmm.
No one. No, I don't care what quarterback you are. If you don't have time to throw the rock, you're not going to succeed. Yes, Andrew. Yes, absolutely. Look at
Andrew. Andrew's point before that. Thomas is good, but again, Thomas is in his second year. Evan Neal got a very, very high education on Sunday that he needs to watch the film and then burn it. Watch the film, learn from it, and burn that thing because we need to see. But hopefully he'll be able to learn some different things and learn what guys are doing in the NFL because he hasn't seen pass rush like that.
Yeah. And so rest in peace to Coolio. He passed away yesterday. Vic, he is up in Gangsta's Paradise, man. Definitely, man. But it's 10:00, guys. Looks like Brian's not gonna be in. I actually can't stay for 4 hours, but this was a great show. I appreciate you, Deeds, for sticking in with me, man. I appreciate it.
That time flew by, man.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. Wow. We had a great time. Guys, as always, everyone in the chat, Cool, Hawk, Andrew, Vic, Sick, Latina, everybody, man. We got nothing but love for you guys. We appreciate the support that you're giving us. Y'all helped bring Snowman to the top, man. And this show to me is a blessing to be able to do this because it's actually helped me evolve my show, and you guys have made me go live. Yeah, this is the chat that made me want to do live because you guys are always interacting with us. You always spitting some knowledge. I love you guys, man. This is why I go live now, and I appreciate everybody who checks me out. Vic, Sick, everybody, you guys are amazing. You guys
absolutely, and I will be live at 5. I will be live at 5 tonight to do my show, to do Fit Down Sports Show. We'll be doing it live. We'll be on YouTube. We're not going to be on Blog Talk for a couple weeks due to some off the scene stuff, but we will be back on Blog Talk eventually. But tonight we'll be doing a strictly YouTube show. So if you're around at 5 o'clock, check us out. And we'll be getting through all the college stuff. We'll be talking more about this, more about the NFL, more about all this stuff. So a lot to do on Fit Down Sports tonight.
Definitely check us out tomorrow. We're tomorrow. Y'all know what tomorrow is.
Tomorrow.
I know what tomorrow is.
You guys got all your picks.
It's pick, but we know what tomorrow is, right? Everybody knows it's Base Friday, baby. That's what we tune in Friday. But cool. Thank you, everybody. Love you guys, man. Appreciate it. Deets, anything?
I can't say it any better than that. Everybody have a great day. And if I don't get to hear you, have a great weekend. Enjoy a great weekend of football.
Sports, yes. Just enjoy a great week of sports. My man is gonna hit 62 this weekend. I'm telling y'all.
He's gonna hit 62 without having beers thrown at him.
He's gonna hit 62. Hey, Deez, I think a lot of those people that were throwing them beers is dead, man.
I think so. I think so too. But I'm telling y'all, go watch 61 and just understand what Aaron Judge is doing and how different it is.
But as always, man, peace out. Love you guys.
Thank you for tuning in to Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, the hottest of hot takes and the coldest of cold, hard facts.